Hello everyone, I'm Normulator and welcome to another City Skylines 2 Dev Diary Breakdown where we go over all the details of what you need to know about this week's topic, Traffic AI. Now, I'll be the first to admit that after last week's incredible Dev Diary on roads, I thought there would be no way that the folks at Colossal Order could ever match the hype while talking about Traffic AI. But I'm here to tell you that I was wrong to think such thoughts because this week's Dev Diary is packed full of important details about how City Skylines 2 is going to operate. And to sum it up, I'll use a phrase from the feature highlights video that was released this morning along with the Dev Diary, and that is vibrant realism. Now, as we all know, the citizens are the lifeblood of every city that we build. And to learn the details that have gone into shaping the actions of every citizen in City Skylines 2 is very exciting. So let's talk about the key tenet of the traffic AI that is going to give us incredibly vibrant and realistic cities, and that is pathfinding cost. Now, going back to City Skylines 1, the only real consideration that was given to a citizen's path is choosing the destination that was closest in a straight line that fulfilled their needs. That was it, that was all. Now, as we fast forward to City Skylines 2, we now have a complex system of factors that each citizen considers when making decisions on where to go and how to get there. So let's talk about the four main factors that go into the concept of pathfinding cost. The first of which is time. And this is the most important thing to consider, and all of the things being equal, people are always going to choose the fastest route to get where they're going, and that includes the route, the speed that you can travel on these roads, and the traffic and interruptions that they may incur along this path. The second factor is comfort, and this includes avoiding traffic, avoiding intersections, having parking close by and available at their destination, or perhaps even public transit that might be available at the destination in order to continue their journey, things like that. The third factor is money, and when it comes to money, there are two major things to consider. There's fuel costs, so the longer your journey, the more fuel you're going to consume, as well as the cost to park. So if a citizen determines that a long journey ending in a heavy parking bill is too much, then they might consider taking a route that might be a little bit slower and a little bit less comfortable, but will save them a lot of money. And the fourth and final thing that they consider is their behavior. Now, behavior considers things like citizens' willingness to make illegal U-turns or to go to more dangerous traffic situations like busy intersections, things like that. So, those are the four main factors that will be considered. But in addition to that, you have to consider that the people were broken down into different age groups. So, depending on which age group you're in, you might consider these factors differently. So for teenagers, the most important factor is money or lack thereof. So if they're headed downtown to a concert and they can't afford $30 for parking, they're probably going to get on a bus. When it comes to adults, they're going to value time much more than comfort and money. And then finally, seniors are going to be much more considerate of having comfort, like close by parking, in order to limit the amount of walking that they need to do. So we've covered pathfinding cost, but there's a lot more to traffic AI than just that. So let's start to break them down one at a time, starting with lane usage. Now this one's a quickie, but for those of us familiar with the first City Skylines, it is a blessing to see, because there are few things more annoying in City Skylines than having a 3 or 4 lane road or a highway and see every lane wide open except for one that is packed full of cars for miles. So, to see this and know that vehicles in City Skylines 2 will be making smart decisions on lane choice is an absolute blessing. So, cheers to this. Next is traffic simulation, and the important thing to point out here is that this is separate from the pathfinding decisions we discussed earlier. In traffic simulation, vehicles will make decisions affecting traffic flow many times along their journey, such as accelerating and braking, avoiding oncoming traffic when making turns, switching lanes to optimize traffic flow, and adjusting their pathfinding decision when an unexpected event such as a traffic accident occurs along their route. As we talked about last week, roundabouts have been fully implemented into City Skylines 2, and more than that, driver behavior with regards to entering and exiting these roundabouts has also been established. So vehicles that are entering will yield to vehicles already on the roundabout. However, vehicles might cut in front of another vehicle if a suitable opportunity arises. This is all part of the vehicle behavior that has been implemented in the game, which is always looking for suitable spots to improve traffic flow by changing lanes or sneaking through an intersection at the last minute. When it comes to traffic accidents, it all comes down to the driving conditions. The likelihood of an accident is increased with poor road conditions, poor lighting conditions, as well as weather. Therefore, having enough road maintenance services becomes very important, along with having adequate street lighting. When an accident triggers, the vehicle will lose control, allowing it to hit obstacles such as cars and buildings. If another car is struck, it also gains the collision and physics characteristics that forces it out of control and allowing it to strike into obstacles until the accident is over. Once the accident has occurred, the site will be secured by police and road maintenance, and depending on the severity, an ambulance may also be dispatched to care for citizens with serious injuries. Available parking is an important factor when citizens are making a destination choice. If there is no parking available close to a citizen's desired destination, they may choose a different destination altogether. Furthermore, when there is a parking available in the area, the proximity and cost of that parking will affect each citizen group differently. As discussed earlier, seniors value comfort above all else, so they will only choose a destination if the parking is very close, regardless of the cost. While adults care more about the speed, so they will factor both the cost and proximity when choosing a parking option. And finally, teenagers will be happy to walk greater distances to save money on parking, and may forgo a destination if expensive parking is the only option. Another thing to note here is that the Dev Diary mentioned that roadside parking fees can be implemented via districts. So overall, I think it will be important to balance the cost and quantity of parking available. If you make it too plentiful and cheap, everyone will want to drive to their destination, which will have an adverse effect on traffic, whereas if it is too expensive and not plentiful enough, the demand on public transportation could be too much for your system to handle. One thing I'm happy to see implemented here that you don't get in the first City Skylines is the concept of traffic flow. The volume metric has always been a thing, but having both will be an important part of the evaluation on where your roads need expansion or upgrade, as it is possible to have a lower volume of traffic, but poor flow due to bad road layouts, and also possible to have high volume, but good flow thanks to well-designed road infrastructure. The road overview allows you to look at individual roads and can give you road condition as well as a breakdown of the flow and volume. One other thing noted in this section is that road conditions also affect the speed that vehicles can travel. Yet another reason to keep your road maintenance crews busy. When it comes to the discussion of service vehicles, there are 4 key points I want to mention that I think will have a significant impact on gameplay. The first has to do with garbage truck and road maintenance efficiency, and more specifically, how they operate after receiving an order. After a garbage truck receives an order to pick up the garbage, they will pick up all the garbage along their path to the destination. Likewise, road maintenance vehicles will repair any roads that need servicing while following their destination path. The second has to do with emergency vehicles and their quote-unquote more dangerous behavior compared to citizens, which includes speeding, passing other vehicles, and making illegal U-turns in order to shorten their route to the destination. Next, they mention that police will perform patrol duties, decreasing the crime probability in areas that they travel through, and providing yet another example of realism that has been injected into City Skylines 2. Finally, it is also noted that service vehicle operations can be limited to player-created districts, which will provide an opportunity for city builders to micromanage services and potentially improve efficiency. And that's it for Developer Diary number 2, and I can honestly say that I feel like they provided even more improvements to how traffic will operate than I could have ever asked for. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this week's Dev Diary. I'm curious to hear your thoughts. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the video, take a moment and smash that like button if you haven't done so already. Also, I'm beginning a brand new city in City Skylines this week. I'll be streaming it on Twitch and uploading videos here on YouTube in the months leading up to the release of City Skylines 2. So make sure you're following me on Twitch and you're subscribed here on YouTube so you can follow the growth of our farewell city. And of course, I'll be continuing these developer diary breakdowns for City Skylines 2. So make sure you return every week to find out everything you need to know in under 10 minutes.